Welcome to Bass Day Fishing. I'm excited about today's video. I am the president of the ZLF Bass Federation out here in Castaic, California. You can check us out at zlfbass.com. And last night we had our first meeting of the year and we brought in a special guest speaker. We had Derrek Stewart come talk to us about big baits and swim baits. He brought a ton of product from his sponsors that he passed out to us. It was a great night. I want to share with you guys some of the highlights from last night. I broke it down into 9 or 10 small chunks of things that I think will really benefit you, not only if you fish swim baits, but just fishing in general. So come along, join us at the ZLF Bass Federation's first meeting of the year.
I got you. Like a cutthroat or something. No, you're right. It could have been a monster cutthroat. Yeah.
I see the guys. No, you're probably right. Probably giant big trout.
Where are you guys going?
He's gonna get the big browns out there too.
All right, first of all, welcome to the 2019 ZLF Bass Federation season. I put together a video for us in a minute, and as I was putting that video together, I went back and looked at videos from a long time ago. This is our 9th year fishing with the ZLF Bass Federation, which is pretty impressive. I mean, that went fast. Every year when I start, I like to start off by talking about who we are, what we're about, why we do this. So we got to go all the way back to that 9 years ago when we got started. We put this club together for 2 reasons. We want to have fun, we want to learn. Those are the 2 main focuses of putting this club together. We're way lower key than most bass clubs. We're lower key than your money tournaments. We fish 6 events a year. We have 6 meetings a year. We do a couple of big bass fishes where it's just 1 fish for all the money. And we fish the Castaic Bass Club Challenge, which doesn't count for our points, but it's the 7th tournament. So a lot less than you'd normally get with the other clubs. We also only meet 6 times a year. The goal is we want to have fun. It's not a big stressful situation. Every year we emphasize that if you are so intense that you have to win and you go home angry when you don't win, this isn't the club for you. We got the money tournaments locally. There's all kinds of things you can fish. But this group, at the end of every tournament, we drive out of that parking lot, no matter win or lose, we're in a good mood. The key to our club is we want to learn, which is why we got this great guest speaker tonight, because we're going to learn a lot tonight. And that's the focus of our club. Some of our guys have been fishing forever. Some just started out. Carl fished with Moses. We got all age groups here. And we can learn from each other. That's the goal. When we're on a boat with your non-boater, you should be learning from each other. You should be talking to each other. It's not one of those keeping your bait secret, don't want people to know what I'm doing. At the end of the day, that non-boater, who more often than not is a newer guy, should get off your boat knowing a lot more than when they got on your boat. And the boaters, we always learn from the non-boaters. There's a guy who started 2 months ago. They're probably doing something totally insane. And they'll start catching fish. You're like, what was that? But they've got stuff you can learn if you take the time to try to learn from them. So that's the key. We want to learn. We want to have a good time. So that's what we're closing about. All right, we are done with all of our official business. Again, if you are new to the club, make sure you get Terry your information. We got to have that. Okay, at this time, the reason we're all here, Derrek Stewart has a great presentation for us. Let's welcome Derrek.
Does anybody know what the funnel is? The BBZ funnel? Okay, it's an ambush. It's a kill zone. And this plays right into your question, Steve. Have you been up? Yeah. Okay. The funnel. It's a BBZ term, and being in the Army, I think of it as an ambush zone, and really. What you're doing with a funnel, and you should always be looking for funnels or the kill zone, how the fish are setting up, when you have a sense that they're using a certain part of the water column. Every time I'm on a bank with a weed line, and if I've got weeds and rocks, then I seem to intercept the fish. If it's just weed without rock, so I know what I'm looking for. The funnel, when a prey item enters a funnel, it's just like a military ambush zone. The prey is compromised. The escape routes are lessened. What the prey item is going to do once it realizes that it's in a bad spot, its maneuvers are predictable. And so a lot of choices that the bass has to make are already made up. And like the name implies, it's like a neck down, just like a funnel shape. So when you get into that funnel, so you're out there and you're looking for the funnel, and now when you make your cast, you don't want to land right on top of the funnel. You want to go way, way past it, and you want to swim into it. So a lot of times we're casting too short, we're landing our cast right on top of the funnel, and so you pull the fish out into open water. So every time this happens, and this is what I meant about turning things upside down, doing 180 degrees, what would have happened if instead of being here, the boat was over there, and I cast parallel to the shore or even uphill, and I bring the bait into the funnel. I pull the fish into what it's already looking to accomplish. When I do it the wrong way and I pull them out, now they're in open water. Now, some days it doesn't matter, just like the fish are going crazy, we're having a good time, we're catching all over the place. But generally, especially around here, the pressure, it just isn't like that. And so a fish following in the open water, maybe it thinks the prey item has a lot of escape routes, a lot of different ways. And so it's reluctant to commit. But don't give up on it, because now when you get next to the boat again, you've just hit another funnel, the boat itself.
What do you base your retrieval speed on, or the way your method of retrieving, whether swimming or jerking the bait?
The jerk bait works sometimes, but what I am the bait, and I'm doing a little sexy dance out there, and I become the bait. And typically, I fish extremely slow with a swim bait. There are always exceptions, but slow is the way I go, and I don't swim necessarily in a straight line. And what I mean by that is, of course, the retrieve line is the retrieve line, but because of the swimming dynamics of these baits, coming in and out of the lane, and I'm just doing a little dance. And I watch fish all the time, and I watch how they move about. And so I'm thinking about all those things, and I'm just trying to put myself in the water. I am the swim bait. When I just mentioned a follower, you guys know what I'm talking about. How many get followers when you're swim baiting?
That's all we get. That's why we're here.
Followers can teach you a lot, and bass following swim baits is not something. There's no special thing about a swim bait. There's no special thing. Bass follow everything. We just see it with our swim baits because we're usually high in the water column and it's very, very visual. But they follow everything just like a swim bait. They follow your drop shot. They follow your jigs. They follow it all. How many of you have been fishing a drop shot? You throw out there, you're working it back, and now you're almost vertical. You're like straight down next to the boat. You say, okay, the cast is over. You go to reel up, and you get attacked. That bass was following your drop shot, just like they follow. And this is something to consider because now that change in speed and that course change, the direction change, that might have been the trigger, where now it's not a follower, it's an attacker. Darren.
Can you talk about dead sticking a bait?
Dead sticking, okay, yes. Floaters. A lot of people think of floaters, and again, there's no right or wrong, but I hear a lot of people say, it's a wake, let's wake our floaters. And I love to let floaters float. And, it just seems to sound right to me. Again, identifying where the funnel is, casting way, way beyond it. I love to put a floating swim bait way upwind, even if I have to just drop it off and let out line and position the boat and then go to where I'm going to take the retrieve from. And then I just let the wave and the wind push the bait into the kill zone. And it is it's really great because it just sits there forever. And especially back in the day when they plant trout at casitas, you go over certain points and do this tactic. and you just see these big, massive shadows just come right up underneath the bait. Just heart-stopping. And so I like to let floaters float. But
So when would you determine, I mean, obviously if they're planting trout, you want to go trout, but also that the white spro, that during the trout plant, that seems to pull them out as well too.
that's an excellent question. You're essentially asking about color.
Yes.
I put no credence into color whatsoever. You can take all my baits and spray paint them white or strip all the paint off them. I don't care. I don't think the fish care either. Now, but if color gives you confidence, confidence is very, very important. And so if it gives you confidence, then there's more than enough reason. So if you feel good about something, but I fish trout swim baits where there are no trout, the bass hit them. I fish the BBZ Spro 6-inch comes in Ocean Patterns 2, mackerel and sardine. Bill and I took these to Pyramid one day, and he was asking me, oh, what can we do for our next video? I say, hey, they just came out with these baits. Let's take them to Pyramid. There's no mackerel in Pyramid. There's no sardines in Pyramid. But we
Floating sometimes.
Yeah, except the frozen one.
we've got on film the largemouth bass at Pyramid hitting both of these baits. So color can give you confidence. There are so many things you have to have lined up before you get to color. The location, the funnel, wind direction. You know, there's days when nothing matters and the fish bite is wide open. The window for success is wide open, but usually the window's almost closed and there's just a narrow little deal to, you know, and you got to get everything lined up perfect or you won't get in. But color is one of the
It's a last.
a lot of people put color at the top of the list. I think it should be at the bottom of the list.
So have you ever cast out and reeling it in and all some fish will explode on it but not hook up? So you reel it in, you throw another bait back in that same funnel? And
That's
catch
a
it?
great question. No, I don't do that. And it's really hard to learn, but I would encourage you, if you get a blow up and you don't hook up, it's really hard to do. Don't get excited, leave the bait right there. Several reasons. There could be more than one fish involved. There could be even a little wolf pack. They get extremely competitive when they're doing that. And whether there's another fisher there or not, maybe that first initial strike, and he says, like, you know, he thought the bait got away from him. Where'd it go? Where'd it go? Oh, there it is. He goes back and he said, no, not the second time. I have caught many fish by having the diligence to just keep the bait there. It's hard to do. You know, you get really pumped up and you're really, oh man, you know, but try and leave it. That's my response. So the swim baits, all of them, I want you to just think of them as another tool. They're just another tool at your disposal. And I've swim baited enough that one of the hardest things for people learning swim baits is when to put it down, when to stop doing it. I've done it enough and I feel I can read the fish, and if I go to 2 or 3 spots and I like how everything is setting up, I will know really, really quick whether the swim bait bite is there or not, or my swim bait bite, I should say. And so I don't want to go around the lake, you know, just for that one bite. I really find it no different. And again, they're just tools. You know, if you're fishing and you know when a topwater bite's going, you know, you see the fish busting or you're catching them on topwater and such, but sometimes it's not there. The conditions are not right. But could you take a topwater bait and go around the lake all day long and maybe get that one big bite? Yes, you could. But I want to catch fish. So like you guys are in a club, you're competing with each other, or even if you're just out fun fishing with your buddy, you want bragging rights, whatever it is. you know, if something's not working, I'm going to go through all the tools that I have available to me and try and figure out what that is. Now, that does not mean that later in the day, maybe the clouds come in, or a wind shifts, or there was no wind and now there is wind, or now the shadows are starting to creep out and get long over the water, and I come around a corner and I look at something and I go, you know what, I just love the way that sets up. I'm going to have to test it. I pick up the swim bait. You know, maybe could that scenario kind of overlap that purist who went around the lake all day long just for that one bite? You know, could when I picked up the rod, and maybe because there was an environmental change, it was a prescription for success, and I got that one bite. But I didn't do that one thing all day long. I'm pretty sure if you've been in enough tournaments, you can understand that. You can appreciate that. Yes, sir.
Is there a particular time of year or condition where you're more inclined to throw a swim bait?
No. I do it all year long. There are obviously days that really line up better, and the odds for success can increase, but all year long. But again, knowing when to put it down. Yes.
What about leaders or anything like that? You don't recommend doing anything like that with swim baits?
Big fish, swim bait fish, they have a way of exploiting the chinks in your armor. And so if you're weak, or you're not prepared, or there's something that's a little off, they're going to exploit it. And so it's less knots. And I don't like fishing braid on swim baits because if I made a perfect cast every time, it would not be an issue. But these big baits especially, they generate a lot of shock, and because the braid has no forgiveness, I cast off quite a bit. And I never cast off a floater, only slow sink and fast sink. Just never cast off a floater.